Hi Michael. Has the improvement in the defensive record been down to what you've been doing behind the scenes? Because 2 clean sheets here, when clean sheets have been really hard to come by, especially at home. That must be really pleasing for you. And what have you been doing behind the scenes to show people?
It's pleasing for sure. I think it's a lot. It's not easier, but it's a lot. It's easier winning games if to win games without having to score so many goals every week. For sure, you know. We do seem to be a team that can cause a lot of problems and create opportunities and score goals. So it's definitely getting the balance right. There's still things to improve on. It's definitely something we focused on of trying to be better as a team collectively when we don't have the ball. But 3 or 4 weeks we're not going to fix everything and all of a sudden look perfect. So it's understanding that a little bit. But yeah, I think the boys have responded really well to what we've asked them, and the clean sheet, as much as everything today, the clean sheet was important for us.
Betty.
Hi Michael. What sort of challenge does a team like West Ham pose for you? Obviously they're fighting relegation towards the bottom of the table. Is it a different challenge to approach?
I think you've got to go into the game understanding the situation of both teams. I think we've tried to paint that picture to the players in every game we've played so far, and it'll be the same come Tuesday night. The type of game, the feel of the game, what kind of skills we're going to have to try and draw on. You know, different games throw up different things. So, and yeah, for sure, you know, teams towards the bottom of the league are really fighting for things. So, but so are we, and we've got a lot to fight for. So it's you know, you'd like to think that balances out in some ways, and it's who can come out on top at the end of it. But sure, we're totally aware of what we're going into on Tuesday night and how difficult it'll be.
What do you make of West Ham under Nuno?
Yeah, well, there's a bit of change. I think injuries as well is difficult. I think they're very good on transition, very dangerous. Got some really good attacking players. So we've looked at them already and kind of have an idea with that, as they would have done for us. You know, so. But yeah, they're a threat. They're a threat, and when they get up ahead of steam at home, they're a dangerous team. So. Definitely got to be ready to cope with all that.
Michael, you've said in virtually every press conference that you won't get carried away, you won't allow people to get carried away. When you took over at Middlesbrough, you won a lot of matches. There were a couple of defeats, but you won a lot of matches. Is there anything from that period that you can learn about this period and keeping focused and maintaining your sights on the next game and not getting carried away? Because it's an easy thing to say.
It's a really easy thing to say, and listen, part of it you got to enjoy the buzz of winning, right? You have to. That's what we're in it for. So you got to manage the highs of it, and you got to enjoy it initially, the feeling of winning a game. You know, you can't kind of just be flatlined the whole time. But certainly going into the next game, you got to then regroup and prepare again for what's next. But you definitely take the confidence and the feeling from the games that you've had, knowing you can go into the next game with a little bit more feel-good factor about it. But I guess the big challenge is knowing what's got you there and all the hard work and the preparation, and then what it takes to win a game of football at this level is tough. So never assuming the next one's just going to be all right. But you still got to allow yourself to feel a little bit of waves of emotion with it. Because all a little bit boring and pointless if you didn't really, to be honest. Winning games is what we're all strive for, you know. So the boys have been good with that though. They've managed it really well and kind of had the higher to win, come back into training and focused on the next one, and we've got to keep that going.
You won't do what your old manager used to do, give the players even when they've won a game or anything like that.
There's a time and a place for everything, Simon, isn't there?
Hi Michael, Bruno said on TV after the game that you remember what he said to you last time you were manager, that you were going to be a great manager, and he still believes it. Can you remember what he said to you last time you were in charge about that, and how does it make you feel to hear someone like that talking about you in that way?
Yeah, no, I've known Bruno for quite some time and know him really pretty well, and seen him the odd time the time that I've left the club and bumped into him at times. So I've got a really good relationship with him, you know, and I understand how much he's really intelligent footballer. He's bright. He cares a lot for this club. So in terms of that side of it, we all want the same thing, you know. So it's obviously nice when players that you respect, as I do with Bruno a lot, says good things about you, but it's ultimately it's about the team, you know, and getting the best out of the team, and actually that's all working together. So time will tell, you know. It's not about judging how good or successful at this moment in time, because nothing's really happened yet, you know. We hopefully got a lot more to do between now and the end of the season, and see what happens after that.
Dan and then Carl.
Michael, can I just ask you, team news-wise, will Mason be in contention to be back, and also with Matthias, could he be fit after the FA Cup kind of break for the team?
They probably will. Mason will be probably not for Tuesday, probably after, but definitely going into the Everton game. Yeah, he'll be back. Matt will be. We'll see how he develops over the. You know, the Everton game feels like a long time away at the moment, so we'll see how he develops. But he's positive. He's moving in the right direction. But Mason's a little bit closer than him.
And Michael, absolute tangent, and I apologise in advance for asking this, but there is a young lad who is waiting to get a haircut. It's been a while. Just wonder how aware you are of him, and you know, without going to your team talk out of West Ham.
I can say I'm aware of it. Yeah, my kids have made me aware of it, if anything. But it certainly won't go into the team talk from a professional level. But I can understand what's going on with it, and it does make me smile. But it won't have an impact ultimately in the end. Right.
Carl.
Good afternoon, Carrick. Congratulations on the win. You mentioned about Bruno Fernandes getting his goal on the left-hand side. Earlier in the first half, there was a moment where he indicated to a man you wanted to swap and move to the right. I just want to know a little bit more about how you let your front four interpret their roles. There seems to be a great amount of creative freedom.
Yeah, within reason, as long as we carry out the roles properly. Yeah, I mean, it's not total free for all where you can kind of go and decide. It's a little bit of where you end up. Bruno's that type where he understands the different roles and plays them particularly well again. So and Brian's done very similar. Same, to be honest, Matthias as well, playing sometimes through the middle, sometimes off the left. So it does give us the variety. I think they're all suited to different kind of roles. Ahmad's probably more of natural being wide, and so that's a little bit more predictable if you like. But the flexibility certainly helps us as long as we look after the positions.
Michael Carrick is continuing to impress at Manchester United. His side recorded their 4th consecutive win since he took charge over the weekend. And our chief correspondent, Carve Solical, has joined myself in Clinton.
I love it when Carve's here.
Yeah, do you? It's a serious chat.
What a man.
You're the only one. The chief arrives.
That's what you have to impress me. You know I got you.
Right, you can ask him something in a minute.
Right.
But let's just start by talking about Michael Carrick then. Look, if this brilliant form continues, and it's not just the fact that they're picking up points and winning games, they're playing incredibly well as well. Surely it's going to be hard not to see him staying on.
Look, I think this is such a big decision for Manchester United that they're going to take their time to try and make sure they make the right decision. I don't think they're going to be swayed by the fact that United have won their first 4 games under Michael Carrick. Of course, it's great news. You're totally right. They're playing like United again. It feels like they've got their identity back. They've got a head coach who understands the club. But I think we've got to be cautious. And at this moment in time, you have to trust the people who are running the club. You've got to trust Jim Ratcliffe, Omar Barada, Jason Wilcox. Behind the scenes, they will be doing all the hard work to make sure that they identify the right person to be the long-term head coach. And one of the reasons why this is so important is United need to be back in the Champions League. And I think the best thing that Michael Carrick can do, whether he gets the job long-term or not, is make sure United finish in the top 5. Because I think finishing in the top 5 will have a transformational effect on United. Because finishing in the top 5, they'll get back in the Champions League, and that will open the door to the tens and tens of millions of pounds that you can make from being in the Champions League. If we could just look at how much money the clubs who are playing in the Champions League this season have already made. We haven't even got to the knockout stages. Look, Manchester City up there, £84 million. Liverpool, £84 million. Arsenal, 83. Chelsea, 80. Spurs, £73 million.
Staggering amounts of money.
Wow. Because of the new format of the Champions League. A few people have been saying, how come Arsenal have earned less than Liverpool and Man City?
Because they finished top.
Because they finished top. It's really complex, but the way money is distributed A third of the money is distributed on how big your TV viewership market is and also how well you have done in recent times in Champions League European competition. Right. And obviously City and Liverpool have a better recent record than Arsenal. But the reason I say it's so important for United to finish in the top 5, because I think 5th will get you in the Champions League, is because they will get that kind of money from next season. So I think Carrick can get them into the top 5. I've been doing a little bit of maths. Last season, 5th, you needed 66 points to finish 5th. United at the moment are on 44 points. So they need 22 points from their last 13 games to finish, hopefully, in the top 5. That is 8 wins from 13. 8 wins from 13, and I think they'll be back in the Champions League.
I think they'll finish 3rd. I honestly
better.
I honestly do think the form they're in at the moment and the run of games they've got and the way they're playing, I think they'll finish 3rd. And I think that's good for Man United Football Club. Back where they belong. It's Man United Football Club, isn't it? They've had to suffer quite a bit, these fans, but I think they'll be back where they belong.
I think the 2 toughest games they've got left are arguably away at Chelsea and away at Newcastle United.
Yeah.
And the way they're playing at the moment, you wouldn't bet against them winning those games. So I think Carrick just needs to get them in the Champions League, and then I think his name will be added to the list of possible contenders to get the job long term.
Don't get me wrong, I think Manchester United fans are nervous enough about going to West Ham tomorrow, so...
Oh, that is a tough game. That is because West Ham are in good form, so that's a good point you make, Emma.
What, in terms of on the pitch, what are the big changes? Aside from players seemingly playing in their rightful positions, Kobbie Mainoo as well, who started all 4 of the games that Michael Carrick has been in charge for.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head with both of those, and also working hard. You look at this group of players and playing a formation that suits the players, gets the best out of players. You've got Maguire that's coming back in, who's playing ever so well. Kobbie Mainoo as well. Luke Shaw, everyone said, he couldn't play at left back. He can only play as a left third centre half. Martinez is now fit, who they did miss for a long period. Martinez is a really good defender. And Dalot is now, who had question marks, is defending and playing as a proper fullback, Dalot. So in all areas, they look really good. And you've got X factors, the likes of Cunha. Bruno Fernandes is levels, to be fair. When I say levels, unbelievable levels. If I'm now Man United, I'm tying him down to a long contract, because the way he's playing at the moment, he's grabbing that team by the scruff of the neck and games and being brilliant. And everyone,
could he be player of the season?
Yeah, of course he could be player of the season if he continues to do that. It always usually goes to someone who wins the Premier League. But I think from where Man United were, if they can get into the Champions League, and he's been that driving force, that is a good shout, Carvey. It'll definitely be on the list, that's for sure. But he's fantastic. And I just love it. And credit to Michael Carrick. He's doing a brilliant job. I do think the coaches he's brought with him have helped massively. Steve Holland, I think, who worked with Gareth Southgate, he's doing a brilliant job. But, yeah, Man United look really, really good at the moment. I'm really impressed with them. Even another player goes under the radar where he's leaving at the end of the season, Casemiro. How good has Casemiro been? We say 3 years ago, everyone's laughing, his legs are gone. Good players, his legs might be going, but good players know where to be, and he knows where to be on that football pitch. Good connection now with the players
Kobbie Mainoo, isn't it,
and everything.
Well?
Kobbie Mainoo, who can do his running, but yeah, I think every Man United fan are happy, aren't they, Em?
They are at the moment.
Yeah.
Long way it continues. Who's on this list then?
Well, look, I think you can split it into sort of different parts. If you look at the sort of big name managers who are in work at the moment with international teams who are taking part in the World Cup, I'm sure United will be looking at the likes of Thomas Tuchel, for instance, Maurizio Pochettino, Julian Nagelsmann, Carlo Ancelotti. Now, the only issue with going for somebody like that is the World Cup final is on July the 19th. The Premier League season starts about 4 weeks after that. So do you really want to wait that late before making an appointment? And also, if you're taking somebody like Thomas Tuchel, imagine the kind of media circus there's going to be during the World Cup with England, if it comes out that he's going to be taking over at Manchester United. And also there'll be stories the whole time, every day during the summer, about what's going on with the United job. Why don't United have a long-term manager in place already? So those are the problems that you'd have going for an international manager. I think what United have been doing in recent times in the transfer market is going for players with Premier League experience. So what would happen if they went for a manager with Premier League experience? Then you're thinking about managers like Oliver Glasner, Marco Silva, Andoni Iraola, Enzo Maresca. Now, I don't know whether any of those would turn out to be any better than Michael Carrick, then you go into the realms of somebody who is proven at the highest level, somebody like Luis Enrique.
Yeah.
What a job he's done at PSG. The only problem is he seems to be loving life in Paris. Yesterday, PSG beat their biggest rivals, Marseille, 5-0. After the game, he was asked about his future. He's got 18 months left on his contract. He said, look, I knew I'd be asked about this. All I want to say is, I love Paris. So it sounds like he is probably going to be extending his contract at PSG as well.
Manchester, Paris, Manchester all day long, no? Tricky one. I won't let you answer that. It's all right.
What about the shopping?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm here for the shopping.
What, you're not seeing the Trafford Centre? It's all right.
Yeah.
Will you be shopping in Paris?
I know where you're coming from.
In terms of the manager situation, then, because it feels like there's a narrative for some that it's got to be this big name manager. Where do you sit on it?
I understand because it's the size of the club, but if Michael Carrick keeps doing what he's doing from now to the end of the season, it's a difficult one because he's seen it many a times where Man United have done it before with an interim manager. But I think this is different with Michael Carrick. I think if he does ever so well from now to the end of the season, he's got a great chance of being in the reckoning. I still think they will look at other managers, but he's gave himself a good chance. Whatever happens, his stock will be high and he will get a job in the Premier League, whether it's at Man United or another football club, because the job he's done there has been fantastic. I, for one, would love to see him get the job, for sure, at Man United Football Club, because he deserves it, but I still think there's other names in the frame at this moment in time. But long may it continue, because I'm here for it. My son support Man United. They're buzzing at the minute.
The other thing I'd say about Michael Carrick is he's brilliant at handling the media as well. You know, sometimes under Ruben Amorim, he was generating too many headlines, but Michael Carrick has, you know, he's got the experience. He knows what it's like to play for a club like Manchester United. He's obviously seen how Sir Alex Ferguson used to deal with the media as well. He gives very little away. Look, he's honest and he's as open as he can be. But it's interesting as well, whenever he's asked about his future, whether he wants to job long term, he handles those questions really well as well by just shutting down any talk of that.
Funny you say that, because he was actually part of the media not long ago. You see the pictures surfacing of him interviewing Thomas Frank at the beginning of the season. Right, let's bring Dave into this. Away from the potential managerial search, you've been having a closer look at some United stats and also how corners are proving.
More, by the way, on Liverpool at 11:30, but now it's been an incredible transformation at Manchester United since the arrival of Michael Carrick, as the club target a 5th straight league win when they take on West Ham United tonight. Their good form has seen them climb up to 4th, but Michael Carrick is wary of the threat his old club will pose this evening.
Teams towards the bottom of the league are really fighting for things, so but so are we, and we got a lot to fight for. So it's you know, you'd like to think that balances out in some ways, and it's who can come out on top at the end of it. But sure, we're totally aware of what we're going into on Tuesday night and how difficult it'll be. They're very good in transition, very dangerous. Got some really good attacking players. So we've looked at them already and kind of have an idea with that, as they would have done for us. So, but yeah, they're a threat.
Our 5th straight Manchester United win would have extra significance for one supporter in particular. It could be the night that Frank Illett can finally have his hair cut. 16 months on from vowing to continue growing his hair until they win 5 games in a row.
I'm pretty chilled about that. I don't mind about it ending, for sure. And more than anything, I need this haircut. Look at it. I'm first and foremost a Man United fan. I'm enjoying seeing the team play well again, and getting some wins under their belt. So that was part of it as well. Is that thing of wanting to see them back to winning ways is been amazing since he first came in. I'm glad as well that it's not been like 5 easy teams either. It hasn't been a walk in the park, but he's made it look a bit like that.
James MacDonald. James, right, OK, Manchester United. We were debating this yesterday, actually. If they are the best team to watch in the Premier League since Michael Carrick has come in, what do you think?
I mean, on current form, definitely. We're the only team making commentators sing at the moment, aren't we? Kuna, Luke Shaw, Bruno. So, yeah, I think we're doing really well. I think we're really good on the eye and we're really tacking, doing great football.
What do you think about that, Jody? I mean, it is only a few games since Carrick has been in, but how impressed have you been with their style of play?
I've been extremely impressed. I think
the variation in their performance needs to be applauded. I think if you think about how defensive they had to be in the first 2 games and kind of soak up the pressure and look to maybe counter teams, and then if you look at the second 2 games where they've had to be the more dominant, they've certainly been exciting from a neutral's point of view as well, because there's been lots of goals. But I just like seeing a team that is clearly playing with confidence and with a bit of freedom as well. And I think you've got to absolutely credit all that down to Michael Carrick. I mean, he seems to have taken the shackles off the team, playing them in their right positions, and they have been a joy to watch. We've got some examples of some beautiful football that they've been playing, Jody, actually. I want you to have a look at this, and James, you as well. United's playing in tight spaces, which, you know, pretty impressive for someone who's never played professionally like me. And we didn't see this type of football under Ruben Amorim. Is that something that Carrick will have been doing on the training pitch, or is this a case of giving them freedom to do this themselves? What do you think, Jody? No, this is more giving the players freedom. I think sometimes when you can have a manager or a coach that is so set in his ways and maybe stubborn, we know how stubborn Ruben Amorim was with the formation that he wanted to play, and sometimes they can get bogged down by trying to sort of like dictate every single pass and every position a player should be on the pitch, when I think you then become very predictable as a team in itself. And I think Michael Carrick's just put players in the right positions and also gave them a bit of freedom. And when you've got top players, which we know Man United have, that's the type of football that you can get from players. And obviously winning games is going to breed more confidence anyway. But we've seen these Man United players produce little passages of play like that before. It's just, we didn't see it at all under Ruben Amorim, really. But for me, that's more down to Ruben Amorim than it is the actual Man United players. And again, I think Michael deserves all the credit for, like I said, taking the shackles off the players. James, when was the last time that you saw you playing like that in those tight spaces?
It's been a while. I can't remember, to be fair, but I think, touching on Jody's point there, confidence breeds confidence. You do a couple of them, the crowd get behind you, the players start believing, getting more confident, and start expressing themselves. I think Carrick's job was to come, when he came in, was to pick these players up off the floor, remind them who they are, remind them of the quality that they've got, and let them start expressing themselves, and that's what we're seeing.
James, there's a message on the screen from Ian saying that Manchester United are only doing what they're doing because they're only playing once a week. Is that fair?
Yeah, absolutely, because it really does help us when we're playing against City and Arsenal. No, absolute nonsense. I think we are playing against top quality teams. 2 of them 4 wins are against teams that should be challenging for the league. I don't think not having a midweek game matters too much at this level.
We talked so much this season about how Kobbie Mainoo wasn't playing. Now we're talking so much about how Manchester United have been so much better with him in the side. Do you now expect him to go to the World Cup? And yesterday, Tim Sherwood was saying, he said Kobbie Mainoo, Luke Shaw and Harry Maguire should all go to the World Cup, but you wouldn't have been saying that a few weeks ago under Amorim.
No, I don't think so, but I think they have played themselves into the team. I think for me, Luke Shaw all season should have been an England contender. He's done okay all season, but Harry Maguire getting consistent games is showing that he's undeniable in certain aspects, and so is Mainoo. I think, like on performances alone, they've earned the right to be in that squad.
Does it make you, as a Man United fan, even more annoyed with the previous regime when you see the fact that as soon as Michael comes in, he gives Kobbie Mainoo he's played 90 minutes on the bounce and been performing at a real top level? Does it make you even more annoyed previously, and almost thank your lucky stars that you've now got someone in charge who believes in him and could maybe save Kobbie Mainoo's Man United career?
Yeah, it was absolutely frustrating seeing him not playing week in, week out. And I think for Mainoo, it must have been equally, if not more, because he's seeing like players like Ugarte come on and get match time when he's not. And to be honest, the way we were going, we were at risk of losing him in January. And what an absolute blow to the club that would have been if we're letting young talent like Mainoo leave. Because probably what would have happened is he probably would have gone on to another team, got himself in the England squad, and it'd just be another story of United wasting a young talent.
Exactly. James, an Arsenal fan earlier, actually said that he was more worried about Manchester United closing them down in the title than Manchester City, which I'm sure will put a smile on your face. Thank you.
Absolutely. Cheers, guys.
About their opponents, who are West Ham tonight. They're one of the Premier League's in-form clubs, so could they escape the bottom three? Joining us now is West Ham fan Chris Coville. Chris, what's clicked to make you improve so much in recent weeks?
Morning, gents. Several things, actually. I think, firstly, we've got a bit of athleticism in during the transfer window, which has really helped. We've had a new assistant manager come in. He's been alongside Nuno for the last 4 games. So obviously, we've won 3, lost 1, and that was a tight game against Chelsea. He's given us a little bit more impetus on the front foot as well, which I think has liberated not only Bowen, who wasn't at his best, but particularly Crescencio Somerville, whose recent form has coincided with the new guy whose name's Paco Gémez coming in. And I think particularly Tati Castellanos coming in, he's given us a focal point of the attack, but he really doubles down. There's a lot of work rate from him as well. And again, I think you'll find he's doing a lot of the running. He's occupying defenders. And I think, whisper it quietly maybe, there was a bit of a shadow hanging over the club because of Lucas Paqueta. And as much as he seemed popular, since he's gone, the squad seemed to be liberated. It seems like happier camp, and I think you've got Mathias Fernandes who's stepped up with the responsibility. I thought, well, actually, I'm going to add something here, and he's become not just a playmaker, a bit of an all-rounder in midfield. So there's several reasons why we've had an upturn in form.
Well, only 2 teams have got better form than you in the last 4 games. Can you name those 2 teams?
Well, one of them would be Man U.
Correct. Chelsea and Manchester United. Well done. Of course, it's Manchester United tomorrow. How confident are you about that one? But also, how confident are you that you will stay up now?
My confidence is growing, but it was at a very, very low point. I was asked relatively recently. I didn't think we had more than a 5% chance of staying up. We seem to be so cut adrift. We need other clubs to do badly. It's not all in our hands, really. But tonight's huge. If we could get a win tonight and then speak to me in the future and ask me that question, I'd be far more confident. We need to win games that maybe you'd look at on paper and think, well, West Ham aren't going to get a victory there. We beat Burnley, that's good, but we went through Christmas and didn't beat teams that maybe we should have done. A big game tonight. If we win tonight, I will start thinking, hold on, maybe the game's on. But I think Forest have got Wolves, so we're looking at Forest. Leeds, it's tough. Everyone above seems to be getting points, you know.
That's it. Are you a Wolves fan tomorrow night?
Oh, yeah, definitely. 100%. There seemed to be a little bit of nervousness around Forest, actually. You don't quite know what's going to happen with their owner, Marinakis. He could get a little bit tetchy. Maybe he sacks Dyche. I don't know. And then we've got Tottenham as well. We'd be really nice if Tottenham lost. We'd take anything. We'd take any scraps or any crumbs of comfort at the moment that would probably help us. We can only look after ourselves, but we do need others to slip up.
Do you think, like when you mentioned Tottenham there, do you think you've dragged them and Leeds into it? It's not just you and Forest anymore?
I think Leeds have got a spring in their step. I think that's difficult. And if you look at their record at Elland Road during night games, it's formidable. Tottenham's tough, you know. I think if they lose this weekend, I wouldn't be surprised. Sorry, if they lose this week, I wouldn't be surprised if Thomas Frank goes. There's a melancholy around that club. Leeds just seem to be on a different vibe. They seem to be enjoying themselves. And, I wouldn't think that there's any problem with Leeds. They don't have a brilliant run coming up, but they can get results against the big teams, which is what we need to do, funnily enough.
Christian, back to you at West Ham. Do you think that you're good enough defensively to stave off these attacks from other teams? And how do you think Dizazi will slot in? He played 90 minutes, didn't he, in the last game?
He did, and we were all surprised about that. And he looked like a bit of a monster, actually. Where West Ham have floundered recently is, I tell you what, Jody, we've gone from one type of manager to another. So when a new manager comes in, he doesn't necessarily inherit a group of players that suit his style. And, you know, Nuno likes to park the bus and hit teams on the counter-attack. We didn't really have the players for that. Now, you'd know all about Chelsea yourself, but I know Disasi didn't seem to be, we call him Disaster and giving him names like that. He didn't seem to be flavour of the month at Chelsea. But you look at why they paid money for him from Monaco, aerially very dominant, the type of qualities we probably need. Is it going to fix it? That's tough. I'm worried about tonight. We're susceptible from crosses, particularly crosses to the back post. A lot of teams score against us there.
Yeah, João Pedro got his goal, didn't he, against you? And I mean, you were great in the first half, as bad as Chelsea were. You were great, but I agree with you. The confidence that you're getting, I thought Bowen and Somerville were outstanding against us. But as soon as we got that first goal, I just felt that you looked vulnerable at the back, and that's why I was just interested to see how you thought Desarzi was going to do for you, because it clearly, to me, looks like you need help at the back.
Yeah, well, if you were at the game, Jody, you remember he brought Kilman on. Yeah, me too. You saw the atmosphere change in the game. It really did. The stadium sort of came alive from a Chelsea perspective, which had been quiet before that. Bringing Kilman on was tough. It sent a message. We went to 3 centre-backs. Sent a message to our players, you're going to sit back, you're going to defend. I think it sent a message to you guys to say, OK, you can probably do something there. I think maybe Rossini got the better of Nuno tactically. But Kilman, he's not really worked out as a player for us. You need attritional players that love defending. You'd have played with plenty yourself over your career, and that's really what we need. And hopefully Disasi is that, just because he wasn't good at Chelsea. Maybe you need a more cultured player at Chelsea to bring the ball out. We don't really at the moment. We need a backs-to-the-wall monster, really.
Chris, before you go, I'm quite confused here. I'm sure we used to call you Gonzo.
You do. You call me something different every time I come on, mate. So
have you dropped Gonzo for Sky Sports News?
Look, if I was going to do anything for Sky Sports News, I'd tidy up my midlife crisis cave, which you can see behind me here. I've not changed my name. And there you go. You've got on the big screen now. My goodness. You two boys are too young for this, but you've got this coming when you'll start hiding down your shed and playing football and doing all sorts of silly things. No, I'm still Gonzo. I still have too much junk in the man cave. So, yeah, you can continue to call me what you want.
Gonzo, Chris, thank you.
Yeah, Chris.
Thanks, guys.